Idaho Matters podcast is brought to you by St. Luke's On-Demand Virtual Care, which allows patients to see a provider from their home using a computer or smartphone with on-demand care for common ailments such as a cough, sore throat, or a sinus issue. More information at stlukesonline.org. Before today's episode, an important message. The White House has asked Congress to rescind funding that was already approved for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting. That funding supports trusted, independent journalism like the interview you're about to hear. Without it, Idaho Matters could face serious cuts. Learn how you can help protect public media at boisestatepublicradio.org/funding. More Idaho Matters from the studios of Boise State Public Radio News. I'm Gemma Gaudette. There's no better way to bring people together than food, and every Saturday, that's exactly what draws thousands of Idahoans to the Boise Farmers Market. However, it's not just the produce that makes these markets great, it's the community behind them, which is why a new series called More Than a Market, Why Farmers Markets Matter, is documenting the crucial relationship between local farmers and the public. So joining us now to talk more about this are Amber Byerly, the executive director of the market, and Tim Summer, a fourth-generation farmer with Purple Sage Farms. I want to welcome both of you to the program.
Thanks for having us, Gemma.
Thank you, Gemma.
You are more than welcome. Amber, let me start the conversation with you. Can you start by telling us a little bit more about this new series and really where the idea from it came for it?
So it was actually a grant from the United States Department of Agriculture through it's called the Farmers Market Promotion Program. So essentially they see the value of our ag community in having farmers markets. So they want to help out in providing more information to people, advertising, making sure people are aware. And really that is our main goal is encompassing all farmers markets through the lens of what we do really, really well at the Boise Farmers Market. So you'll see things that are very specific to us, but really encompass farmers markets across the nation.
So Tim, how long have you been selling at the Boise Farmers Market?
I think this is the 12th year of the farmers market, of the Boise Farmers Market, and we've been there since its founding.
And Tim, tell us a little bit about Purple Sage Farms, because your farm, you've been farming for what, upwards of 3 decades?
Every bit of that. I think this is I count our 37th growing season as a certified organic farmer in the state of Idaho also. So we've just done it all. I think we've done commercial sales and wholesaler sales, but the farmers market is a way where the public really has the chance to interact with our farm. And this is a farm also that we raised our children on, Gemma, and now they run the farm, and I'm just there as their servant.
I have a feeling you do a little bit more than that, Tim. Amber, let's talk about the first video in your series because it highlights the drive-through market. Now, this was really a pivot in COVID, but it's become an essential service over the years. So tell us a little bit about it and how it works exactly.
Really, there was no better way to start the video series than the drive-through because farmers markets are about innovation and they use what they can, what's available, often having to move from one blacktop to the other. And in this case, when faced with a pandemic, how do we prove our essentiality? How do we, when grocery stores were open and they at first said that we had to be closed, it was really a lot of great people, Dave Crick and our director at the time, Tamara Camera, coming together and saying, no, this is essential not only for our local economy, but we have the food. And, Davis at Fiddlers talks a lot about people showing up at the farm and they, like wanting food, going to the grocery stores are bare, but we had abundance locally. And so I love that it shows our innovation. It shows the abundance of food that's available. And now the pivot has become, of course, people would prefer to be there in person, but some people simply can't. And so it's about accessibility and not just accessibility with physical limitations, but of course, there's people that don't want to be in large crowds. And the drive-through and our wonderful volunteers provide this access point. And again, that's just farmers markets are really great at, is saying, how can we get good food to you? And the drive-through is a great mechanism for that.
So, Tim, what kind of work goes into prepping for the farmers market every week on your end?
I think it starts, it's several days just getting the harvest in. And also on Friday, we're sending out the orders of that day with all of our delivery customers. And then we start, it's a full day of harvest and getting it packed. And then around 4:30, I and my wife begin to, when we do the market, we start gathering things together and head to Boise with a full load. And we try to anticipate how much we're going to need that day. Sometimes it's a rainstorm that maybe says not bring
Hmm.
as much, or if the sun's going to shine, we bring a lot.
Well, so Amber, how many vendors and producers are part of the farmers market now?
Yeah, we actually have over 130 vendors, which is a record number in our 13th season here. And at any given time, last year we maxed out at about 100 on the footprint, and that was peak season. So that's going to be into July and August and early September. And this year we've already surpassed that in late May. We had 100 vendors on site. So we do our best to accommodate everything. Obviously, we're an agriculturally focused market, so we're the place to get your groceries. We're the place to get food. We're the place for you to talk to the person who made your food. And there's no in between. There's no middleman. You are talking to the producer of your food, and they grew it. They knew what to grow, and as Tim said, they're anticipating our growth as well. And so as our popularity increases, which is great to see lots of people. Now what we're really trying to do with this video series is educate people beyond just like, well, let me get a baguette or let me get a couple of greens, to where it's like, no, this is essential and this is the best way to keep our local food system healthy, to keep yourself healthy, and really grow community.
And Amber, where are you guys located? So for people who might not be familiar.
Yeah, we're still located at 1500 Shoreline. So that's Shoreline and Americana, right off the connector there, still in the
Hmm.
downtown area. Obviously, we have some areas of growth that we're currently working on because, of course, space is limited, and that being privately owned, we look for creative partnerships and things. But yes, 1500 Shoreline, we're there every Saturday through October, and then we head indoors for winter market.
So let's talk about some other stories that'll be featured. Can you tell us about what, because we talked about the drive-through, what other stories are you going to be highlighting in this series?
Yeah, one that's coming up. Obviously, we're going to have a video that highlights again some of that innovation. The Harvest Moon Dinner, which we feature 6 amazing local chefs, some now James Beard award-winning chefs, and
Hmm.
how they integrate local food, how they bring community together, and just how they integrate their backgrounds in with their relationship to the food, but also the relationship to the farmers. So that's a great one that's coming up. I'm really looking forward to one about the flower industry and how that is really has been a boon for a lot of farmers. Again, I use Fiddlers as an example, where they're primarily, growing greens, growing some great amazing veggies, but they've seen this niche of flowers. And when you think of farmers markets, a lot of times, and I just was in Seattle in Pike's Place, you see all the flowers, and now
All
that's
the
really happening
flowers.
here in Boise too. Yeah, exactly. But those add value products as well, that also with an eye towards native plants and things that make sense growing in Idaho. And so they'll speak a lot to that, because sometimes we don't know those flowers that we're getting at a commercial store, grocery, otherwise, are full of pesticides. They've been on a truck for a month. They come primarily from Colombia, and while beautiful, you're essentially putting some poisons on your table. But if you get it local and fresh, not only do they keep longer than you would think, they're beautiful and they're local. So I'm looking forward to those. We'll see a lot about collaborations within the market, because that's why farmers markets are great. So I'm really looking
Hmm.
forward to some of these upcoming videos.
So Tim, Amber mentioned, the benefit of buying local flowers, right? So I'm curious from your end, what are the benefits of buying local, in particular, produce from your farm or other farms?
Well, I think people want to see a lot of our ag land and rural areas having that character. of food production continue to be supported and to exist.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think one thing that we're interested in is protecting farmland and protecting farmers. And so that's the great value that when people come to the farmers market, that's what they help support. They support better food, a better diet, and more diverse diet for themselves. But they really support those farms, and it's needed.
And Tim, how important is it, when you show up at this farmer's market and you make those local connections, right? It's with the people who are coming to the market and they want, what you are providing.
Gemma, around the bell doesn't ring till 9 a.m., but around 8:30, we have all these regular faces. They're shopping, looking ahead of time, and that's so amazing. Or ordering our stuff through the drive-through as well, and they're there early. These people they know the value of the freshest food possible, and they know the value in their diet. So their health is linked to it as they see it, and they're good cooks also. So we have these people that stand in front of you, and after a while, Gemma, you get to know all of them, and it's kind of fun seeing them around Boise as well as there on Saturday.
Amber, in your opinion, why are farmers markets, and I'm not talking just Boise, I'm talking like farmers markets really across the country. Why is it so important to our community to have farmers markets?
Well, you're investing in yourself. You're investing in your community. You're investing in the values that you hold so dear. And for us, that is maintaining a robust market where there is enough local food produced by local vendors, local farmers, local ranchers to feed everyone in the valley. And it's not controversial to say, at a grocery store, if Tim does get a relationship in with some of these larger corporations, he's going to see 15 to 17 cents on the dollar. If you go to the farmers market, you hand him $1, that's Tim's dollar. So we're not paying for the middleman. And that, when I say investment, we understand some of the cost is more. Any more, it's that is the gap is really lessening, and we see the value of, say, eggs. Farm fresh eggs that number one, all these things can last longer because they haven't been on a truck for a week or 2 weeks. They weren't harvested a week or 2 weeks ago. They were harvested 24 to 48 hours ago, and just having those relationships at any farmers market that is available to speak to the producer, and especially ones like ours who really care about the standards we have in place. And so we make sure we're doing inspections, and that people, if they're growing something, we go to the farm and see that they're growing. And so it's a promise. It's a promise that we will hold your community values, and that you are helping and supporting your local community, and you're investing in yourself and a healthier way of living.
And Amber, really quick before we go, I understand that this whole series is actually leading up to a really special event that'll be in December. Can you quickly tell us about that?
Yeah, so we're, little clips, little videos and snippets and then we're going to actually put it all together in a feature. So that'll be a little bit over an hour once all the videos are put together. We're going to meet down at the Idaho Film Society, which is in, of course, the old Greyhound station downtown. And we're going to have a wonderful gathering, get together of local food, and we get to watch the videos as one complete series there. And it'll be a wonderful fundraiser for us, which all it does is make sure that we can maintain the farmers market and maintain a market, a place for our farmers to come sell their goods and for our community to come together.
Well, thank you both so much for your time today. We've been talking with Amber Byerly, the executive director of the market, and Tim Sommer, a fourth-generation farmer with Purple Sage Farms, talking about the new online series exploring why farmers markets matter. We will, of course, put a link to the series on our website, boisestatepublicradio.org. This is the Idaho Matters podcast. I'm Gemma Gaudette.
Love this podcast? It's powered by public media, and that's under threat. Help keep it going. Take 1 minute at boisestatepublicradio.org/funding. Your voice matters.